The Spanish game that happened yesterday where Spain beat Saudi Arabia 4-0 with, of course, Lamine Yamal scoring his first goal and telling the world that he has finally arrived at the World Cup. So let's talk about this game. I hope you obviously got lineup up here. So Spain started with this lineup, which I was expecting. There's quite a few changes from De La Fuente, which he had to do, especially with what happened before in a nil-nil draw against Cape Verde. Spain had to switch things up. Spain had to do better this time, and they did with Alex Baena, who I don't think is going to keep his spot. I don't think he was that good. But some other changes were Dani Olmo for Fabian Ruiz, which I think was much needed. Pedro Porro for Llorente, again a much needed change. I think Pedro Porro looked like a revolution today on that right side, and he was amazing with the partnership he had with Lamine Yamal. And of course, Lamine Yamal, the main man, the man himself for Ferran Torres on the right, the man who made the difference. Of course, as soon as he started the game, there was like an instance in like the first 5 minutes where he dribbled past a Saudi defender, crossed the great ball in. He was already creating some great chances for Spain to score. And then we come into the game where Lamine Yamal, of course, gets his goal, and the build up to this goal was amazing, right? The way Alex Baena played with Oyarzabal, and the through ball to Oyarzabal, and then just the crossing from Oyarzabal was brilliant. I think Oyarzabal today, we'll get to him, but I think he was brilliant. But the ball in from Oyarzabal was brilliant, and Lamine Yamal again. He's adding these tap-ins to his games now, and I've said this before. As soon as he starts adding these tap-ins to his game, it's going to be scary. And I think he started to get this tap in, the instinct inside the box where he can just run in behind defenders, send them for a dummy, and get a goal. So that is amazing. And Lamine Yamal, of course, gets his first ever World Cup goal, which is massive, which is huge, right? And is a huge achievement for Lamine Yamal and Spain's first World Cup goal, in fact, um, in this year's World Cup. Oyarzabal, I think today was a lights out. The way Spain played today, from Rodri, from Pedri, Olmo, the way they were connecting, and the way Oyarzabal just switches around in the front three is amazing, right? It's brilliant. Gone are the days of Morata being the main focal point in number 9, but now we have Oyarzabal who's dynamic. He can go on the left, he can go on the right, he can stay in the middle, and his instincts inside goal is just so good. And today we saw that from Oyarzabal. It's just a beautiful performance from Oyarzabal. The first goal, the second goal, all of them were just instinctive. Even he almost got his hat trick where he almost trevelled it as the goalkeeper kind of played to him. It was a bad pass from the goalkeeper, bad clearance from the goalkeeper, played to Oyarzabal, and he almost trevelled it into an open net, which was very close. But I think Oyarzabal was lights out today. I think his performance was amazing. And so was, I think, Danny Olmo. Danny Olmo is a person who doesn't take too many touches, but he's quick. And in the final third, he comes alive. He really comes alive. And I think he's one that keeps his spot in this midfield. Pedri, for me, a bit underwhelming today. I think the first game against Cape Verde, Pedri was amazing. He had like 3 big chances per yet, say 2 dribbles completed. He was amazing. The way Pedri was moving defensively as well in the first game was amazing. But this game, I felt like it was more about Rodri than it was about Pedri. I think Rodri was the main man. Rodri was the controller in the midfield. Rodri was the metronome in the midfield. 2 touch plays from Rodri. That was brilliant. Pedri, I felt like he has been given the responsibility of trying to start an attack, trying to help an attack. Because at Barcelona, he's the conductor. He's the person that sits back and just dictates play, right? And sometimes he'll spray a beautiful through ball into Varane or Lamine or Rafinha at Barcelona. But over here, I feel like Pedri is being told to do something else, right? He's been told to not conduct the play because Rodri does that, but more of carry the ball, be a better ball carrier, play the ball into the final third more. So that's why he tries to do risky passes more. That's why he tries to play through balls more often than he did at Barcelona. So it is different for Pedri, and I think he'll adjust. But this game, I wasn't too happy with him. I think the first half he's all right, but the second half, I think he dropped off a bit. But it is still Pedri, and I think the first game really shows us he's still unbelievable for Spain. He's been unbelievable in the Nations League, where he actually dismantled France. He was unbelievable in that midfield. Even against Portugal, I think it was brilliant. So for me, Pedri is still the best, and I think he'll catch up to this new system that De La Fuente is trying to play, and it won't be a big problem. I think for me, one underrated chat today is Pau Kubasi. I think Pau Kubasi today was amazing. I think Pau Kubasi, defensive, he didn't have to do much today. Pau Kubasi didn't have to do much defensively, but whenever he did, I think he was the one that stepped up the most. And although Laporte has got a bear rating here, which of course, I mean, it is Laporte, but I think Paco Barsi today was amazing. I mean, the way he played today is you can see the chances created. He had two chances created from defense. I saw some of the passes he was getting to play because he was getting time and space on the ball. He could play spray passes long, and I think he was brilliant today. And defensive contributions, of course, he had six. Another player that was unbelievable today, I think, and very underrated was Pedro Porro. The way he's creating and offering width to Lamine Yamal on the wing is good. I like that. And he's defending, he's running ahead, he's running back, he's coming inside, he's offering Lamine help, he's offering Lamine options, which is very important, especially when you get into the bigger games where Lamine is going to need options because Lamine generally is marked by three players. But when he has options, that is better for him because it's easier for him to be more unpredictable, which Pedro Porro is offering. And Pedro Porro's crossing ability was amazing today, and I hope he can keep this up. But I do think Pedro Porro is going to be one person that will keep his spot in the Spain team because I think he's been better than Llorente was. Unai Simon today, not much to do. Alex Baena for me, again, not the best cameo. I think this position on left, it's really been kept vacant for Nico Williams when he's fit. I think the only player other than Nico Williams I can see playing this position is Victor Munoz. I think he's those two are the best for this position. Of course, it will be Nico Williams if he's fit and if he comes back to his best fitness. I think Nico Williams will be amazing like he was back in the Euros. So for me, that position is for Nico Williams or Victor Munoz. Alex Baena, a mediocre performance, not too much. I thought at times he looked good, but most of the time, I think Alex Baena was all right. As for Saudi, I think they have to do a lot. I think they have to do a lot. The Saudi team doesn't want to sit back, right? The Spanish game, I realized they didn't want to sit back much. They wanted to press, they wanted to attack, but their press wasn't coordinated. And that basically left Spain so much open space to play into. I think Spain could have scored like 6 goals today. And Varane, of course, came in and missed up. But for me, I think Saudi, of course, I think they're probably out of the World Cup now because this is a big loss, and I don't think they're going to do much better than Cape Verde because Cape Verde today also drew to Uruguay. So for me, Saudi still has to go back to a drawing board and really fix their tactics. I think Saudi is one team that will be unbelievable in a low block. They just need to sit in a defensive low block without leaving space and not trying to press and trying to be attacking because I don't think that's going to be their game. They don't really have those kind of players, according to me. So that's the game. 4-0 victory for Spain. And now, if you look at the table, which Spain is at, it is Spain at the top, and they are basically guaranteed a spot now in the playoffs because they have 4 points, and even if they come third, which obviously they won't, they are basically guaranteed a spot. The next game comes against Uruguay, which would be I think on the Wednesday or the Thursday, I don't remember, but that would be a nice game to see. Actually, we can just check, can't we? Let's check when Spain's next game is. Fixtures. Oh, it is on Monday. So that's going to be an interesting game. Oh no, Saturday. That's going to be an interesting game to watch. And let's see. I think Spain can defeat Uruguay. I've seen them twice now against Saudi and against Cape Verde. They don't really look that good. I think Spain's going to absolutely trample over them. And especially with Lamine Yamal back, yeah, I don't think it'd be much of a problem. And of course, I was very happy with De La Fuente today because he took off Lamine Yamal at halftime, which is amazing. And even with Lamine, I think the way he was playing today, I think he was very mature. He understood that they got 3 goals in about a span of like 30 minutes, and at that point, they just needed to calm down. They just needed to calm down. They just needed to not exert too much stamina, too much fitness because Lamine, of course, he just come back from injury, and I was happy with him not trying to do too much. He was just playing the ball and keeping the play going, not trying to do too much. Of course, he had a shot here and there. He missed quite a lot of shots. He wasn't at full fitness. He was. I think this was like a Lamine at 20 or 10% of his actual ability, but he's got his goal and he conserved himself for the latter stages of the World Cup because those are the ones that really matter. So those are my thoughts on Spain. Tell me what you guys think about Spain. Tell me what you guys think about is Spain really back? Because I think they're really back. I think Spain, this is the Spain I know. And of course, with some more players coming in like Nico Williams, I think they're going to look even better, especially with Lamine Yamal coming in at 100% fitness when he decides to play and go 100%. It's going to be unbelievable. So let me know what you guys think. And up until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.